Okay, now you can hear me. Just a little check before we start with the stream. Okay. I might be a little bit loud, I don't know. Okay, this might be better, I don't know. This is, yeah, hello guys, this is my first stream. My first stream in English. So, my name is Mark Meurer, and today we are going to migrate my website that I've created with you more than a year ago, and we're gonna migrate it from the version, I think, 18 to 19. Let's just open the website real quick. Yeah, it's my first time really speaking English, so if my pronunciation is not the best, or I butcher the pronunciation or say things weird, please forgive me. I'm trying my best. Why did I open localhost? It's not on localhost, it's live. It's here. This is my portfolio website, which was written in Rust, and use a special framework which compiles, which is like a React-like framework in Rust, which compiles to WebAssembly. And it has many cool features, like in React and in version 19, 0.19, function components came available. Like we had before class components like in React, and now we have like function components, which is more like React is doing. It's directly in the spirit of functional components or function components. I don't know. Are they called functional or function components? I don't know. And we are gonna take a look at how we're gonna start a project with you, and then we're gonna take a look at my website, and we're gonna migrate all the class components to function components. Have to look real quick. Nope, everything is all white. So what I've done here is, this is my website, just a brief preview on like a presentation of my portfolio website. Yes, it's just like it has here like a little animation which I've got from Lottie. If you don't know Lottie, it's like a place, like a JavaScript API where you can make animations in After Effects and like compile it to a JSON, which then will take this JSON object and makes an animation. Basically, it's that. So, and here, like you can see, it's just a normal portfolio website, not really special. I have many like emojis which I've downloaded. It's like the Twitter emojis, which I've downloaded all the SVGs and put it in its own components. We're gonna have a look at how I've done it and how terrible that is. Yeah, that's the website we are going to recreate, basically. What have I opened here? Yes, Emacs. So now we should open the code I have before. Oh, it's here. I've already opened it. So this is my website. This is basically just a class component app which gets mounted where it is mounted in lib.s, I think. Yes. Like in here, we mount the app, and there's a new way how we mount like our application to the DOM, like a simpler way, and you just really came a great way, making things simple, more like less, like with much less boilerplate. So we should create a new project for that. Let's go into my projects, and then we say cargo new. Let's call it Moira Dev, and call it function for now. So now we could open it. Let's make a new, completely new workspace. And then go documents, projects, Moira, dev function, and then we open the TOML file. So just quick, and we should add you. So we look into the crates. I hope my keyboard is not too loud. There's no way of checking for me because the stream setup is completely like really difficult for me. I have my laptop here and I don't have a second screen. I have a second screen, but it's not hooked up to my graphics card, so I can't use it. So please bear with me. This is the first stream I've ever doing in English, so I'm extremely nervous. So you, yeah. Oh, it's already it's a stable release. Okay, I thought like 19 was just like a pre-beta or alpha version, but I guess it's stable. We need you. We need to go to source and then open main file, and in here we probably should first save the TOML file and then build. Oh, I can't build in my projects folder. I have to go to the folder where the project is. So we say cargo build. Cargo build just builds our application. It doesn't run it, but fetches all the dependencies and tries to make a binary, basically. Because before that, before 0.19, which I just call U19, version 19. Before that, where is it? We had to create a source, not a source package, a library package. Like here. Yeah, we had to create a library, and it was just really complicated to set up a project in U, I think. At least I thought. But now it's much more easier, and you don't really need to, but there's also like a template version, like it's called Parcel. It's on the website of the U project, but it's not really necessary anymore. It's like it's so that simple to use, just to set up a new U project. Not like React, where you have like a special command like npx create React app, which is pretty simple, but it's just another program that fetches a template, and use is more simpler than React in that case. And as you can see, we are already fetching Glue. Glue is like a really good like abstraction layer to how we would speak with like the browser API, I would say, like for example like the console, how to say dialogues, how to access the storage, which we will need for my website. Yes, now that it's built, let's mount the application. So first we need to import, like use the U library. And I will make that full screen. Yeah, full screen is better. So what if I remember correctly, we have to like there's a special macro that the U team created, like you just type function component and then the name of the component, which we'll call app, and then we create like the function, like in React. It would be like that, a normal function that returns HTML, which is like a special type, which we generate with the HTML macro. And in here we can just do some like how would you say, like JSX style like syntax for writing HTML inside of React. So that's basically it. Let's make it a div, give it a class, and let's call it just app. Close the div here, and we just say here h1 and can close it right back and just say hello world. Let's just try to make the program work. And in the main function, oh, I completely forgot how we do that. But that's not really the problem. We just can go to the UO website, go here into tutorial. I will close that for now, make it bigger for you. Also make it dark mode. And where is it? Where did we write the application? Yes, here. It's just this one line. Like you start app and passing the component. So you start app and the name of the component, and that's it. Now it should work, but not at the moment. We have to create the index.html file, which we will put into the source, like the default position. It says here in the root of the project. Yeah, the default position of the index.html is in the root of the project. I don't like that. I would like to create a public folder for that, but for now, just let's do it like the documentation, like the tutorial says. And we have to create an HTML. Like, how do we create? Don't I have a yes snippet for that? HTML5? I had a snippet specifically for how to create HTML code. Oh, I have to look it up. I forgot it. Where are my snippets? There are my snippets. In web mode. Oh, it's in web mode, yes. Well then. Let's just copy that. And use it in our Rust application, but it's an HTML file. What did I do wrong? Oh, it's called... Oh, it's just a exclamation. Let's try that. Yeah, it's just an exclamation mark. So what we will have to do, nothing. We have to do nothing in here. We can just change the title to just Moira for now. And it should work right now. We could try to build it. Let's try that. Oh, yes. We don't typically, we don't normally build the application like we would do with a normal Rust project. We have to use trunk to compile our project, our UApp to WebAssembly and to open a development server. Therefore, you have to do in the tutorial, just say cargo install trunk and add the target, which I've already done, to resin, so we can compile to resin, I guess. And yeah, and here we create the project, and then we can basically say cargo. And it's not cargo, it's call it like this. And then we can say here trunk, which is an awesome program which makes developing in Vue so easy. The website is trunkrs.dev, and here you can see how you can use the command. It's that simple. You have the build command, you have the watch command, you have the serve command, which is basically watch, and clean to remove the earlier builds, and it's just so easy. And we will have a look on how to use Sass with our project, or SCSS. I prefer SCSS, but it's that simple. Everyone can do it. Okay, let's just open the server. Let's hope that everything works. Just need a little bit more time. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Don't need terminal to be so big. Don't need this paper anymore. There were some speaking points. Just to be sure that because I'm really nervous in this in my first live stream that I forget something to say, so I made some speaking points for the beginning, but I don't need that anymore. So, as you can see, that's our WebAssembly website, completely written in Rust. Now we have to use some React hooks like state and just make it more interesting. We don't want just a website to have hello world. So what we are going to do, I have no clue. We should open my website, my old website. Where is it? This is not long. Here's the old website. And we open lib.rs, and then we can see we have to open not lib.app.rs. And here we can see like app.rs is doing nothing. Basically, it just has a global state which can be consumed everywhere in the application. Like at that time, you had like a special, I would say, hack, like a small library how to manage shared state. It has completely changed for now. They use now they have now like a real context API, which is more like in React and way simpler to use. So in app we have nothing. We have to open fake body, which I've called fake body because I need a quick fix to do some stuff. So fake body has just, what does fake body has? Like this kind of HTML. We go to, oh, we have to switch to, here. So in here we have now the app. And it's basically, class would be get classes, function that I have to define, get classes. And for the navigation, I have something like a div for the main content. Yeah, but this should be it. This should work right now. So let's indent. This has to be, yeah, it's like a real big pain in the ass for JSX in React, not in React, in Vue, because the Rust mode I'm using here for Emacs, it doesn't have any logic for like how to indent HTML like syntax. So let's just make this 2 spaces so we can see what we have to do. Like this, everything like this is just, should be just comments. Yeah, everything should be comments because it doesn't work. Navigation we don't have yet. And this hello world we don't need anymore. So let's see what the fake body has done. The fake body has like a, like how can I say, like a theme handler, I would say. What have I done? I should have looked beforehand, before I started to stream, what all the components have done, but we have like this function get classes, which I can just copy. There's nothing, and here we have like a shared state handle where we get like the shared state, but we don't need that for now. We can just copy that and paste it inside the app. We don't need a self anymore, because we now have a function, not a class, or struct. I would say in Rust they're called structs. We have now props now. So now these props, we don't have those. Those are the props that before in the old website were passed down from the shared state API, or yeah, let's call it shared state API. But now we have to create like a context. How we would do that? It's pretty much simple, but I forgot how to do that. But that's not a problem because I had like here the demo. I've done it in the demo where I have here now the app And here we can see how we've done like context. Here we are using useState. Let's do that. So we are creating a state because shared state or context is nothing less than a normal state. And we are saying, okay, it has not to be const, but let's call it app context, or let's call it theme. I think theme is better. Let's call it theme, and theme is a state which we can create with the function useState, and useState wants a function with no arguments, like a lambda function with no arguments, and then the start, the initial value, which should be, we have different options, dark, rust, light. The default should be light. So in here now we have to say like what kind of type it is. If you come from TypeScript, you will know, or you will already know, like you have to basically give types with everything. I don't know if you have to. Like, let's try not to give it a type and see what it says. It says like app is not found. Yeah, because I forgot like syntax. This does not work. Let's comment this. Comment region, and we will return root light, or just root. I've said here, just return root. And now it should work. Why doesn't it work? Like get classes. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I have to scroll down. Well, expected named lifetime parameter. Okay, this is new. Has something to do with how Rust manages lifetime and yeah, basically how it manages lifetime of variables. So it says we have to add static to it, which I guess we could. I think that would be better. Just, we could also like return a string. Should also be possible, but then we have to say like toString or like toOwned. Be better because it's better than toString. What's happening? Yeah, this is sometimes of a bug with trunk that it just like basically crashes this web server and doesn't work. We have to restart the web server and it doesn't work anymore. Why? Why don't you work? Ah, maybe because we have an error. No, we don't. Oh, we have no content on that page. Maybe I shouldn't have removed like the hello world. Let's add it again. And now it's again here. Okay. So that will work. For now we have to create a context. Like at first we have to create like a useState, and here it says like, okay, help, if this is intentional, prefix it with the underscore theme. That's not what I wanted to do. But it had like a warning before where it says like, this is how you type it, but it doesn't say. We don't need to have to type it, but I like to have a type because it makes it more, it's make it simpler for me to understand like what types are accepted for the theme state. And here we can say like, okay, it's a string. And maybe it shouldn't be a string, maybe it's okay. I don't know. It's okay. Sometimes it doesn't like. For me, I don't know why. I'm not that good in React in Rust. So I don't know everything, but sometimes it does complain if I use like a string. It's called string literal, like an str instead of a string. And I don't know really why. Most of the time it has to do something with the lifetime. Maybe this error will come again and then I can explain it a little bit more. So, but let's be a little bit faster. So we have like the state, which we will need to make a context provider for the other components. And how we do context provider should be like context provider, and then we have like a type in here. I've already done it. Let's see here. Okay, like we have here like a context provider, which we will pass a generic type, and the generic would be in this case string, and then we will pass the context of like what like this is what we defined here, the type. So let's do that too. And this would be of type str. Maybe now you will complain we have to change it to a string instead of an str. And then we have like the context. Is context also predefined with ctx? I think it was ctx. Right? No, it's context. Context, and it has this one like a tuple which expects a tuple, and we will pass like beam like this with a clone. So we want to clone it. Basically now it will complain because we can't clone. It was everything. It wants to have everything in here. Maybe we're doing it wrong right now. Let's see. Like put these brackets away. Yeah, now it says, what says it? Probably must be either literal or enclosed in braces. What have I done wrong? Please help me. Oh, yes. It has to be in brackets. And the syntax I had before was correct. So this one needs to be braces. And now we have to put it like in here. In a tuple. And now it complains. Why does it complain? Ah, because we didn't close the context provider. Does it have a type too? Does it need a type? Yes, it does need a type. And in here we say it's of type str for now. Okay. Now it complains again. Does it complain? Why do you complain? Please tell me. What's the problem? Macro panicked. Macro panic means I'm doing something completely wrong. Does it say me what I'm doing wrong? Cannot push value of punctuated is missing trading punctuation. What does that mean? I don't know. We have the context provider. Where's the problem? Is there a problem? We are returning an HTML object. Hey my friend, cool live stream, but now I have a short question. Why does your window look so funny? Where can you download it? Which window? Oh, you mean Windows, not window. Yeah, yes. Yes, you can you can download it from this page here. Should be artix.org. It's a really cool Windows version. No, it's not the correct one. Where's the Artix page? There. artixlinux.org. Okay. What's the problem in here? I don't know. Could not compile. Yes, to previous. Oh, punctuated push value. What is your problem? Maybe this function, it doesn't like this function, but it liked it before. What's the problem? I don't know. That's a problem if you're doing a live stream and an error happened and you don't know how to fix that error. Can we see here? Like, no, nothing. Nothing in the console. Okay. That's a little bit of a bummer. Let's look at how I've done here. How I've done it here. The context provider, the context which we will clone. Just copy that line. What's the difference in here? There's no difference. Context provider. And this context is the variable name of the context where we have here. It's a simple use state handle type string. Maybe the type is really the problem, I don't know. Let's make it a string. Let's just make it a string. So what it says is I expected a string, yes. Now we have to call the function toOwned to make it a string. And now it works. Yeah, it was basically the problem because of the function, because of the type str. Like, I don't really know what the problem is. Maybe some of you guys know, but it's like a really weird way. I just guess I just use string instead of str for something like this. But let's go. Let's make a cool website. So now we have, what have we? Now we have created the use state. Now we have created a state called theme, and we have passed the theme in here. What we also need will language, because my website, if you remember correctly, we can change also the language. We can change it to German, Japanese or Korean, and it will affect like the content in here. Like, it changes the language. It's just a way of how I've translated it. We will see how I've done it in a moment. But now we have to create another like variable, like another state for the language. Language should be like a use state handle of type string, and we will, like before, like above, call use state, and the default language should be English. And now toOwned. And now we have to pass it to. For that, I don't know, maybe we have to create a struct for, yeah, we should probably create a struct for the context. Let's call it app context. Yes, that's how you would do it in Rust. And it has theme, which is of type string, and it also has language, which is of type string. And now we go here, we will not clone the theme, but we will create a new object. Yes, it should be in a tuple, like that. Don't know if that's how you would write tuples, but it's the syntax of a tuple, so I guess that's how we do things. So we create app context, and we say we have now a theme, it should be light. It should be theme. Yes, and then we have a language, which should be language. And now I have a big problem, because those are not strings, those are use state handle of strings. So we have to change it and make it use state handle. And just paste it here and remove that. And should that work? Because I'm creating the object, I don't think I have to clone it. Let's see what the problem is. Yeah, it expected a string but got app context. Let's change to app context. Did that work? No. Function or associated element cannot be called due to unsatisfied trait bounds. Yes, we have to give it a trait. And what traits we need to give, I have to look up on the documentation. Let's go into the docs, and we have something like, we can search for it, like use context. And that says we have to give it clone, debug, and partial equal. We just can copy it. Copy that and just put it in here. Does that work? Nope. Help a field with similar name exists. Yeah, I've completely butchered that spelling. Language, that's how you would spell it. And here it's language. What's the problem here? Unnecessary parentheses around method argument. Oh, I guess it doesn't have to be a tuple. It's just like enclosing it. Is that correct? Missing semicolon? Where? Expected item. Oh, guess it doesn't need, yeah. Doesn't need a semicolon. That's just really weird stuff that JavaScript is completely okay with, but Rust obviously not, because it's like more low level. But in JavaScript you can just like put how many semicolons everywhere you want, or you can just omit them completely. But in Rust it's not the same. So it works now. Now we have a state which we can consume in these components, like in navigation, on the landing page. I guess the first one should be the landing page, which we should create. And let's just indent that true, because that's how I like it. So we are now creating a new component, and this component, for that we like create components directory landing.rs, and in here we also say like get all the U components, all the U stuff we need in here, and we create a new component. Just we've done before, but we are not typing derivatives, we are typing function component. And then the name should be landing. Landing, which returns HTML. And then we just call HTML in here. Well, let's see how I've done landing. Okay, I've done. What's that? Oh, just go away. Don't need you. What I'm doing here. Oh yes, I wanted to do some stuff here. I wanted it to be like effect, like someone would type, like, let's open, like, this would be like type, like someone, it would have like effect, like, it gets slowly types, like full stack developer, backend developer, frontend developer, but because like full stack, backend and frontend are basically more or less the same thing, I've not done it, but I still have to the code here, which it's not really good, but we don't need it for now. What did I do here? Just a console warning, and it's just these things. Is that it? Just the text? Nothing more? Okay. Why did I have done it that way? And guess I don't need that. Okay, I have here the handshake component, which is not yet created. Let's comment that. Oh, go away, don't bother me. Break statement here, which is really bad, which you shouldn't do, but let's remove it. Make it this one h1 and also this one h1. see if that worked. No, because we don't have landing. And we have some here like I'm a full stack developer. Am I right? Was that how I've written it? Yeah, full stack developer. And just remove the rest. Instead remove it. I'm always typing the wrong key. Okay, something really happened. Pretty weird. What's happening? Yes, I want it to be created. Okay. Something really weird happened with Emacs, I don't know why, but now it does work. So here we have like, we create a string, which we don't really need. We don't need this format. But we need closing tag here. And we have 10,000 errors because we don't have a landing. So we have to make the landing component available. For that we create the mod file in components, and here we say like public mod, and it should be landing. And this function also needs to be public so we can see it, and then we go into main and we're gonna put in the module mod components. That should be it. And then we say use components, and then we make like brackets because we are gonna import many components in the future. What's the problem here? Unexpected. Yeah, we need a semicolon here. Now it does work. Yeah, we have, hi, I'm Mark. I'm a full stack developer. Full stack. Okay. We have the landing, and that should be it. What does the landing? Does nothing more. It's just like the text. Why did I have done that way? I don't know. And then we have like the Lottie file. For the Lottie, I've done like some really special stuff because you have to need JavaScript for this. So let's just copy everything from here. It's just, yeah, it's basically just a normal stateless function. And we are putting this in landing. So in here we have like the Lottie player tag, which we can use because we are consuming here the script. I don't like how Rust indents like the HTML in here. Okay. So we are getting the Lottie.js file. We are like making a special tag for it, for Lottie player, called Lottie player, which we give a class because I've give it like more design to it, like CSS properties, and gave it a title because the Lottie file I've used has like what's called like a license, which states that you have to do this. It's located in the source, and its background should be transparent, speed is 1, it should loop, it should autoplay, and it should also, where do we get the states? The class is like, I've here told like get styles, but I don't call that function anywhere in it, so I guess we don't need this. This should be it. It should work, but yeah, it shouldn't work because I have syntax error. Should put like a fragment around that, then it should work. Yeah, now it works. But we can't see it because we don't have the JSON file in there. Where did we put it? Put it in Lottie. I don't know how U handles paths in U.19. Because everything is just in the root component. In here, we have index in here. I guess I should just, for now, paste it in the root component, and let's try that. So, let's copy. That's not the wrong direct. That's not the correct directory. Where is it? In Moira, and then static, Lottie, and then I have here now the JSON file, which I will just copy to the root. And does it work now? Nope. Why doesn't it work? What's your problem? Because oh no, doesn't complain. Interesting. Interesting how it handles the. I guess before that don't I have to put it like this in brackets every string because of how U handles strings in JSX, but I guess doesn't care if there is one or isn't. But still we have no Lottie file. Let's just skip that and let's go and make the navigation. I think the navigation is like more interesting because it has like more logic. We need state, like states. We need to consume the context, which is way more interesting than having to deal with Lottie and why it doesn't work. So for that, let's go and open the nav component, and there we can just copy for now all the HTML that we're gonna need. And let's just go here and create the nav. And here again, just preload everything in here and derive, and I make a macro as I always want to derive. But we have to say that function component in here. And this should be nav. And nav, which returns HTML. Not now, I just have to create the HTML macro. And then we have to do like that. Okay. And let's do it. That should be okay. More or less. It's okay. It's okay-ish, I would say. Just really, let's make it bigger. So in here, what do we have? Like in here we have a list which has the function change language we have to write, and then it like has a little flag SVG before it, and then the name, the label, I would say. So for that we have to create, well, first we have to create the change language function. And change language, which is a function, not a variable. And it expects a string. Should be the language. It's called lang. Expects a string, and what does it return? It returns nothing. I would say it should just change the state. So we say like according to what the value of lang is. Done it here. Let's just see what I've done here. Like if it's, oh yeah, if it's change theme, like, or it's like completely different way how we've done it with components, like changing, like having functions was completely different. Now we can just make it more understandable, I would say. Can just create normal functions instead of having like an update function with different like events depending on what the message is, which you can say is like acts like an event, like what event type we have. Is this a change theme, like it's an, and the event is just an enum. Really complicated. But now we can simplify everything and make it so easy. Let's just go here and let's just paste it in here, and now we can see. I'm sorry. Excuse me. So, what did I've done here? Seriously, oh, this is change theme. Change theme is not necessary for us at the moment. We have to look at change language, where we would store the language in our local storage, and then we would reset the language. So let's do that. For storing stuff into the local storage of a website, we have to use another like API like glue, which I've said before. Let's see. And this should be crates.io, and it's called glue, but I don't know which one we need. Which one do we need? I don't know. It's not glue, it's like glue storage. Should be a storage one. Yes, in here. And here we can see how we do use it. Oh, it's not the API we need. Docs. We have the local storage struct, which has get and set. Yeah, let's see. Now let's get glue storage into our app. This is not the correct one. Why doesn't it work? Didn't I open Toml before? Yes. Let's get glue storage. See if it compiles. It does not compile. And we go into nav, and we have to use glue. Just make this, the Emacs window, a little bit bigger. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. And then we go like glue storage, use glue storage, and let's open it here again. Open it in the Brave browser. Let's open it here. Glue storage. And then we go into the docs, how to use it. So it has the local storage struct. Doesn't have an example on how to use it. Let's just also get the local storage struct in here. And then we could say, if the language... We don't need a match statement. Just say like here, local storage set, I would guess, set, and what wants a key and a value. So we'll give it a lang, and the value would be lang, the new lang value. And then we would change the state also after changing the local storage. For that we have to consume. We have to consume the context, and for that we are using another hook. We are saying it should be app context, which is a is it a use state handle? I don't think so. It's just use context and then what kind of props? Don't we have to define props? Let's look up on the website how we would consume it. The state, the context state. Here we are creating it, okay. And to consume it, we have to say like, okay, we have to give it a type also. So it should be of type app context, and that's it. Just an expect. If it doesn't work, no app context found. That's it, I guess. It's of type app context, or what does use context? What does it, what does it return? What type does it return? Do we have like a link to the docs? No, I guess not. Then just open crates, or we can type new docs. And we can see how the function is defined. And is it the correct version? I guess not. Use context. What do you return, use context? You return an option. Okay. No, I don't need to type that. It's an option of T. T would be app context. So let's just write it here to see if it is correct, but it should be of type option and app context. Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. Success. Okay. For that, now how do we set the state? How do we change it? The way we would change it... How do we change the state? How do we change the context? I don't know. How do we do that? Saphir, no, it does not. We can just consume it. Can we change it? And why does it have to type RC? What's RC? What is RC? Reference counted string. Okay. How do we set the context? You set context. Okay, and here hopefully we have more explanation. Here we create the context. Do we create it? Nav button as a theme. This is with functional components. We are 19 docs. And it's context. Using context, providing context. How does it work? No, how do we set the context? It should be... It's really a sense, like, we need a way to, like, mutating context value a child. Because Rust's ownership rules, the context cannot have a method that takes mud self that can be called by children. In order to mutate the context value, we must combine it with a reducer. This is done with using the reducer hook. Okay, interesting. That's kind of the unreleased version. Okay. Why does it have a link in here? How should we use reducer? It's also with function. No, No, it's a functional component. It was just like where we implement. Okay, reducer are a little bit complicated. I didn't know we need that because I didn't read the documentation of it. Let's just ignore it for now. And let's see if the website compiles. Why does it compile? It should not compile because we have done like... Oh, we are not mounting the nav component. That's why. That's why it doesn't complain. So, for the... Okay, we have to make it a little bit different. Like on-click functions are not that simple. For on-click functions, we have to make it a little bit more different. They have to be variables. And they have to be a callback like this. Am I correct? Done it also before, like, yeah, like here. Let's just copy that and paste it in here. So we can see we have like change language, and then we will clone the context in here to make... It's because of ownership. We don't want to take like we don't want to take ownership, complete ownership of app context. We just want to have like a copy of the app context and don't want to get rid of it when we will leave this closure. So we will say it like that, like callback from, and then we would say... It's complicated. Didn't think of it in that way. Because we can't consume the context. Well, we can, but we can't change the context. We have to use a use reducer, and for that I don't really know how to implement a reducer. Like we can look in the documentation. Just the context, not the reducer. And here we have the reducer. And it's a little bit more complicated. We have to create an enum with the action, the state, and then we have to put the state, like this whole use reducer state, into a context. But then how would we call? We can just, yeah, it should be easy. It's a little bit complicated, a little more like more code we have to write, but it should be doable. Why not do it? Why not go back to main.rc and instead of creating use state, we say use reducer. So, and use reducer, what does it return? Oh, what have I done? Use reducer. What do you return? Use reducer handle. And this should be of type string, that's correct. Now we have errors because it expects a state handle, but now it got a reducer. And how do we reduce that? It's a little bit different how we give it an initial value. It's just so complicated to have so many tabs open. Let's just close it. We don't need this one, we don't need this one, we don't need this one. Those three are okay. So for the initial value for the reducer hook takes an initialization function which will be called only once. So it takes a counter state default, which is this function, like which returns the counter state and the default value. Which a default value of counter state. So let's just do that. And therefore we will create of here like a struct which call it theme state. Like in the in the example, and in here we have a theme, which should be a string. Yep. And we should implement the default for it, for theme state. And the default should be English, right? Which returns itself, and a theme which is English, and to owned. That should be enough for now. We also have like, okay, this one, we need to create an enum, which is the theme action. What action do we have? Like set? That's it. Like set, and it takes a string, I would say. Or we could just like take the language. English, German, Japanese, Korean. This would be better. Oh, we are in a theme, not in a language, but we will do the same with the language also. Like, let's make a theme action, and this one should be light, dark, rust. Nothing more. Should be okay. Okay, now we have to implement reducible. What is reducible? We have to say the action, what our predefined action would be, the reduce function, which takes itself and the action as its parameters and returns itself again into like this RC thingy, which I don't know what it is, sadly. And then we will mutate the state and return the new state. It's pretty easy, I guess. Implement reducible for theme state, am I right? Yes. And in here we say the type action is of type theme action. And the reduce function should be, like in the example, there's no difference in that. And the action should be the action of itself. And it returns itself wrapped into this RC struct component. I don't know what it is. And then we have the next. What's CTR? What is CTR? Counter? Next counter? Next. Yes, should be next counter. Oh, it's the next state. Next theme, let's say next theme. Which is match, according to the action. We'll do different stuff. We have the theme, action, light, which should return just what light to as a string, not as a str, which is completely different in Rust. Doesn't need, this has to be a normal comma, not a semicolon. Theme action dark should be dark to owned, and then theme action rust should be rust to owned. And because we don't have any other options, it has to be action, it can't be any different. We don't need a default case. We can just basically return that. Why did they do it like that? We can just make, we have to wrap it again. Okay, yeah, now I see. And here we have only the theme, and now we are returning the new state, and which should be next theme And we say into because into, isn't it like a conversion thing, like it changes it? What's the problem here? I have many problems. Yes, I have many problems, that's true. Okay, that should be it for the use reducer handle. For the theme, now we have to do the same thing for the language. And for that we will just copy it and change it to language. Should be much easier now. Language action, we have English, German, Japanese, and the last one should be Korean. We have the language state. This just has a property called language string. We could also use like a tuple like, oh, is it called tuple? Yeah, like a tuple like state in here and not a struct, but I prefer structs. Maybe it has some performance issues, but for now it's okay. The default for language state, it's the default, should be English. Should be ing, like that. And now we have to make the reduce function for language state. Language, and in here should be the same, next lang. It's now here language. Yeah, everything should be language. And now we change this one to what language do we change it? Yeah, to English, like we have done before, like above. German. And what's this language? Japanese. Then we have one more. Korean. And here we say ing, or what's called ing, de, jp, kr. And yes, we have to change this to next language or next lang, called it. And in here, still have some problems because this one expects a state, but now it has a reducer. And what do we have here? This type of string. Use reducer handle. The trait reducible is not implemented for string. Oh! Should it be like this? Does it complain now? Rise by this bound. T reducible. Ah, it should be correct. It should be string is not correct because it's not a string anymore. It's now, what is it? Theme state. Yes, and this one should be language state. And the default should be something completely different. Default value should be oh, it's done in here in state.default. Okay, it's like a theme state, and we are calling default, or we are passing the reference default into it. Okay, now we have, oh, it should work. And okay, what is this? Should be theme state, language state, am I right? It needs to implement partial equal. Okay, let's do that. Should probably also be clonable. But let's see. Yeah. Let's see if partial equal is okay. Derive partial equal. It's for the theme state. For the language state, we are doing the same. I've accidentally closed it. What's now the problem? It needs to derive debug. Cannot be formatted using. Yeah, I guess it needs debug too. Let's see what it says. Like what needs. Doesn't say anything that needs to derive anything. Why did it complain? Why does it complain in here? Not found in the scope. Oh. Oh, RC is something from the standard repositories? Docs for standard in Rust. Let's see what RC is. RC, this one. A single-threaded reference counting pointer. Okay. What do I need? RC is not found. Yeah, I need RC. Completely forgot it in a few seconds. So now it does not work. Use of undeclared type language theme. Where did I type language theme? Should be language state. Unexpected token self. What? Should be self. Ah, and here 67. Yes. Should be a semicolon. Does it work? No, it works! Yes. It's a little bit complicated to consume state in U, but it's logical. Like not like React is way simpler, but it still makes sense why you have to use a reducer if you think of it, because it has to be immutable, because there might be problems. Guess, I don't know. I don't really know the reason behind it. Let's see. See, now we have like that. Now we should be able to change the state. Should be able to change the state into in the nav component. Now we could say this is of type app context. That's right, and app context has. Okay. Apps. See, how do we change? We are calling counter.dispatch and we are just passing the action. Interesting. Use reducer in U doesn't have a payload, I guess. That's different from React. Before that, like you could like give it a payload and like with the payload you could add it to the state if you have like a really complicated like a really big array of like, for example, messages, and if you got a new message, you could like call the dispatch function of a reducer and then just pass the payload, which just had the new message, and we could something like add it to the array of messages. But I guess U doesn't has a payload yet. Oh, thanks for the follow, Pig 117. So, okay. We could now, let's say, move, because we are taking ownership in this closure. And now we should change the language. The language is inside of app context. Language. How did I completely forgot how I defined the language state. Language state has has English, German. No, it's completely different. How do we change it? It's not the state. It's like a use reducer handle, and we have to call language. It's called language. We have to look up app context. App context, where is it? Has language, and then we can call from language dispatch, and we would dispatch a theme action. Is theme action not language action? Language action, and we would set it to, well, what do we set it? It depends on what did we press. Like, let's just set it to German because it's different. And here we would then say, now we are changing the state, and we're changing it to German. And we are also setting this lang in local storage to, that's to no, it's DE. Call it DE. So we put it to DE just to see if it works. I don't know, like, there's no really deep logic what I'm doing right now. I just want to have like a working state of the app where we could change the context and could see if this callback function does work. So we're setting the local storage with a new key, which we say like the language, it should be German. We will change the state, which should be set then to German. And this function we don't need anymore. And then we just change it here. Instead of calling this long function, we are just saying, what are we saying? We're saying change language. That's it. That should be it. Let's do the same here. Change language. And here again, like we're doing it basically everywhere. Just so it works. Change language. And yeah, this should be the last one. Change language. Yes. We don't have those emojis, so we have to comment this out. We don't have the flags, so we will skip the flags for now. Okay. It's a little bit tedious. I know it's not the most interesting live stream. It's my first live stream, so please keep that in mind. I hope I will improve in the next one, or in the next few ones I will do. So bear with me. If you have any critique, just write it in the comments. This live stream will also be posted on YouTube. And let's see if I post it on YouTube. I might be too afraid or too embarrassed because it's not the way I envisioned it to be. So we are just saying here to be okay. I've also stayed here with show lang dropdown, which we need also create, and then we have like here the language switcher, which just changes the state. This can be like a local state. We don't have to make it in the context. Let's just say show dropdown, show lang dropdown, which is use state, and it has the initial value of false. And then we give it a type, use state handle, and make it, what type is it? Is it Boolean? No, it's bool. I was set up with JavaScript, where it is Boolean. So it's just bool in Rust. And in here we have, if we need another function, we don't need this -click function anymore. But we need to create a callback function. I didn't say it before, but callback is basically the function for when we click something. So this is like the onClick function. We have to, in U we have to return, or we have to give it a callback value, which handles basically how we would call functions in WebAssembly in U. It's a little bit complicated, but it's basically really simple to understand. What's your website? It's, sorry if if I didn't answer you right at the beginning, because my laptop is right here and I don't see the chat. But the website is this one, or let's open it here because here now the animations work. It's just a simple portfolio website which I've created almost a year ago, where like you have this simple animation which is just Lottie, if you know what Lottie is. And in here, hi, I'm Mark, I'm a full stack developer. You can change the theme, you can change the language, for example Japanese or Korean, which is just the translations I have manually written. And for example, let's go back to the English version. And here I have just a little text. It's not perfect, but I hope to make it more. I hope to make it better in this live stream, more visually pleasing. And this is my project. It's like really old Doom client, which is like a really old project, which name has changed now. It's just like a Discord clone. But I can show you. It's on GitLab, on my GitLab, and it's called Bubblen client. Correct? No, it wasn't correct. What did I call it? I have here I have a link. I've not called it still like the old name, it's Hyper, but the name will get changed to Bubblen, which is just you can see, like a like a Discord clone, or yeah, it's more like Discord, where you can chat and start a video call or an audio call. You can make posts and stuff like that. But yeah, this is basically my website, my portfolio website, which should be in English. Yep. So, where did we left off? Where were we? We created the state show lang, so we show language dropdown, so we now have to change or toggle dropdown, lang dropdown I would call it. And this one should be also return callback from, which will, what will it do? It will, oops, what have I done? Oh, thank you. It's not something I'm really proud of, but I hope to make it better so I can apply for an internship. I hope to apply on a Japanese company, because I have to do it because of my, what's it called, major, like my studies in the university course I'm taking. It's Japanese studies, so I have to do something with Japan, and I hope to do an internship on a Japanese company in hopefully web development. But yeah, let's see. Let's just make the website migrate it to the new version of Vue, and then maybe tweak it a little bit, and then I can apply, hopefully. So in here we have a callback move. It's a little bit different when we want to change the value of a state, but let's just clone it first, so we don't take ownership of it. Should be show lang dropdown, and it should be like show lang dropdown, but we will clone it. Okay. If we want to change, where do I have it? If we want to change it, we have nodes. Oh, it's easy. You just have to do it like that, like callback from, and just set the state to a new one. Okay, let's do that. And we will show lang dropdown, set it to not show lang dropdown, because we will toggle it. And depending on if it's true, my website is just very simple. Pegasus. Let's have a look. Let's open it with Brave, because some animations don't work with Lipo with Pegasus. Ooh. Yeah, it's really simple, but doesn't look that bad. Like, you've also used undraw. I see. Like, this guy is so amazing. Like, is undraw? It's called undraw? Yes, it's called undraw. He has like so many illustrations. It's just so awesome. I love this one. I love this designer, what we call illustrator. But something awesome in progress. Yes, that's right. So show lang dropdown set. We will toggle it. Do you have some knowledge in Rust? Do you have or in WebAssembly? Have you done something before? Okay. How? Oh. Sometimes I get lost in my thoughts. Now, if show lang dropdown is true, then we set this, the style to display block. And if not, display none. This should work right now. The lang switcher. Okay. Toggle lang. Oh no, that's the same. It's just for the drop-down menu. Now I mostly use JavaScript and now a little Python because of school. Oh, school? Okay. Yeah. In school we just learned HTML, and that was it. Like that, only HTML, and we had to create a website using it, but that's it. That was like our IT, our computer science class. So it took me it took several years until later. Then several years. Oh my god, my English is so horrible. Several, like some years later, to really start programming in JavaScript, and then I've just completely given up, and later I've just gave it another try, and then it just clicked. Like, at the time I was also 16 years old when I tried to learn JavaScript the first time, and I was like, what's that? Like, it's so complicated, I can't understand it. And no matter how long I tried, I didn't have much like progress, and then I've given up. And some years later I tried again, and it just clicked with me. I don't know why, like something in my brain was wrong, but now I can more easily understand it, how things work. But yeah, let's create the callback here for this one. This should be called change, not change, toggle theme dropdown. And this one should be toggle lang dropdown. Okay. Toggle lang dropdown, toggle theme dropdown. Theme is missing. Let toggle theme dropdown. And in here it's basically the same, but we will do it for the theme. Okay. Here it should be theme. I type it correctly. And here also show theme drop down. And then we will set the theme drop down. Yes, now we need only to create a theme state, the show theme drop down state. Yeah, that should be it. And we don't have the icons yet, so we just place like theme icon in here, so we know that we have to put it in here. And now we have here the lang icon. Does it work now? Oh, we're not consuming it yet. Right, we are not mounting the nav component yet. The globe. The globe should not be here because we don't have it. Then we have, no, everything should work. The inner HTML of, yes, of the get projects inner HTML. What I've done here on my website is because the inner HTML, like the word project in this case, changes depending on the language. If I make, no, okay, German is the same, but if I have Japanese, it's now, I guess, seisaku, if I remember it correctly, seisaku, or Korean, so 제작물. So it changes the content, and it changes the content. So what I've done here is I've created a function which, depending on what the language state is, changes the content, which is basically just a string. Nerd. Thank you, Golden Fox, for the kind words. And yeah, let's create a function. Get project inner HTML. Let get projects inner HTML. Which, okay, I'm so used to JavaScript. It should be a function. So, and this function does return, what does it return? I guess str is okay. I guess it should be okay. And now we have to make it accordingly to the app context, which app context language. But language is not the state, but it's just the handle. So we have to call it like that, lang, I guess. Let's see if that's correct. And what kind of value can it have? It can have, we have projects. Oh, it's according to the language. If it's English, it should return projects. If it's German, it should return the same, project. If it's Korean, no, Japanese, it should return seisaku. There it is. And if it's Korean, it should return 제작물. How do I write 제작? 제작물. Is it correct? 제작물? Yeah, it's correct. First time, 제작물. So, should we have a default? We should have a default. Like, if we don't... How did I done that? Did I get the default? And now here in the demo, should open the one. Where did I handle? Yes, I've gave it the default, like English and German. Okay. Let's just give it the default and say project. Is it project or projects? It's an S. Which we should add here too. So we are returning like the inner HTML, so we should do the same for the get in touch button, the contact button. fn get what? Get in touch, yes. Okay. Get in touch inner HTML. And what's wrong? Also returns just a string, just an str. Match app context dot language is basically the same. I can't just copy it. So therefore it should be get in touch. It should be the same in German. Is it the same in German? Yes. German's basically the same, like many Germans are already used to the English words, so I've just used the same meaning, get in touch here, get in touch. For Japanese it should be oh my god. It should be otoi awase, I guess. Otoi awase. There it is. Am I correct? Municho is it in Korean? Otoi awase. And in Korean, mun bi cho. Am I right? Municho, always correct. Always look it up if I didn't spell it wrong. It's correct. So now we have get in touch. Now we have to remove the self statements in here. And now it should work. Oh, it can actually work. So let's go into mod, where we get the nav. Let's put it above because it's in the DOM tree, it's on the top. Let's go into, where do we go? Into main. And here we can consume, I always say consume, like import the nav component and then put it in here. Now we should get 1,000 of errors. Am I right? No nav in components nav. That's right, because it's not public. Should make it public. So now we have local storage is not used, but I'm using it. Here, local storage. Local storage.set, maybe it should be like that. I don't know. No nav. No nav, like that's not true. Maybe because a missing semicolon. Yes, it's always the missing semicolon. Where is it missing? In 15. Oh, there should be a semicolon, okay. And here, functions don't need a semicolon. Now what errors do we have? It wants to have a lifetime. We have to give it a lifetime parameter, because static is like the basic lifetime. By like the basic, like the default lifetime, which we have to give. And yeah, we have to import the app context also into our navigation, which we will do after we've added static to it. Static. Now this should be fine. And now let's look into main RC, how we make the app context. It has to be public. For it, where's the app context defined? Here. We just say public struct app context, and in nav we just go in here and say use create and app context, I guess. Expected bool found struct use handle. Oh, we have, that's right. How did I do it? What did I do wrong? Let's look up at the documentation. How do we get the value? Yeah, we have to dereference it. Yep, we have to dereference the value. And it's, where is it? Here. And where do we have it to make it? Just kind of an error. Toggle theme. Expected in mouse event. Closure found nothing. What? Did we not return? Yeah, we did not return callback. We have to remove the semicolon to let know was that we return those callbacks. Now set function or associate item not found in local storage. And that could be it. Don't know how we would use glue's local storage. Then we have here app context.language.dispatch. What's the problem here? No field language on type option. If I remember correctly, an option we have to call unwrap. For it to work. No field language on type. Oh, not. We have to unwrap app context. Okay. Show theme, yes. Cannot apply unary operator. Or can't I toggle it with like a not statement? Is it not possible? Oh, here it says how we do it. Okay, it's an option, so we have to use some with it. What? It's on line 9. We have here some context. Eh? I don't know what's the problem. Okay. How long did I stream? Almost for 2 hours. It's maybe the time to make a break because I don't know what the problem is in here. Let's see. Let's clear the screen and open the server again to have a new... Okay, there are many problems in here. Use of undeclared type callback. I did something wrong. Is callback wrong? Yeah, it should not be callback with a capital B. It should be a small b. And now we still have a ton of problems in here. We have language action. Use of, yeah, we don't know where language action is. We have to take care of that too. We have to make it public. Can't capture dynamic environment in an FN item. Oh yes, we have to clone it. Where did we do it? Here. We have to clone it here too. Okay, how do we do that? Just like that? Am I wrong? App context, and then we just clone app context. And we do the same in another function. Should work. Why shouldn't it? So, method not found. That's okay. That's just for the future mark to deal with it. Cannot apply unary operator. Let's see how we would do it in Rust. Like the bang, the exclamation mark. And you can use NE instead of not equal. It's not the same. I don't care. Should be a small problem. Yeah, language action. Oops. Can't capture dynamic environment in an FN item. Can't cap. Okay, this is a new error. Not seen it yet. It's how Rust and therefore U handles lifetime. It's not that simple. But how would you do it if you would call a function? Yeah, that should be something that I've should look up off stream. I should just make a quick break and maybe stream the next day, because I don't know. Like, the problem is that we here, like we say, like we want to have app context, but app context can't be cloned like we have done it here before, because those are variables. Those get called when the function gets called, and those functions here, those get called like later if the user clicks on the drop down or clicks on a button. So we can just simply clone it here. But what we could do is set it as a parameter. That would be possible, where we just say it's app context, and then we will clone it in the HTML. Let's do it like that. That should work. App context option, app context. So, and here we will clone app context. This should work. Why shouldn't it? App context clone. App context clone. Let's see. Obviously we still have problems. Do we have app context? No, I don't see it. Yeah, so that's how we would do it if we would like need the context or state as a in the function, which we will call inside the HTML. We would clone it in the HTML and pass it as a parameter to that function, because how React handles lifetime, basically app context, why we have to clone it here, means that the value doesn't get like dropped, goes into the void, because if we would take ownership of the drop down state in this case, I would remove this line here. Now we would take ownership of it, and if our code reaches this line, it means that the show language drop down would no longer be needed. It will be dropped. It is like basically like in garbage collected languages, it's not available anymore. It's like gone, and therefore we have to clone it in here. And for functions, it's a little bit different. As we have seen, we have to clone it into the HTML. We have to call it into the HTML object macro, and then we have to clone it inside the parameters. We can't make it in this function, because in this function the app context might not be live. It might not be accessible for us anymore. So we have to make it. We have to make a clone in here. So that would be a good end for today's stream. Keep in mind, this is my first stream. I was really nervous, and I still kind of am, and it's the first time speaking English like ever. Like I've actually never spoken English like with my Chinese friends and some Korean friends. Yes, I've talked in English, but not like not in this way. So this video gets uploaded to YouTube. My YouTube channel, let's see, my YouTube channel is, for those who are watching on Twitch, my YouTube channel is called Mark M. where we'll upload the VOD, where we'll upload maybe tutorials in the future if I'm more comfortable speaking English. But yeah, that's for it. I will stream maybe in the next days. I don't know, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow, maybe next week, I don't know. Like, it's fun. It's fun to stream, but it's really awkward for me to speak in English again. So, yeah, that should be it. I will look up all the errors and I will make more preparations beforehand, like what the components are doing, and just already thinking in my head how we would implement it and maybe what problems, what things I should look into before, so we don't read too much documentation in the stream. But yes, that's it. Thanks for the ones who are watching. Thanks, Pig. I will call you Pig. And thanks, Golden Fox, for joining in. It was really cool to have someone to watch my stream, my very first stream. And yeah, leave a comment in my YouTube video, and if it's on YouTube, give a like, give it a dislike. I'm really appreciated. And we will see next time. So now I have to open OBS and have to stop the stream.